Hello and welcome to the channel. I came across this video earlier today at the time of this recording. It's kind of an important video, I think, and I'm trying out my Rode PodMic with my new audio interface to see how this kind of works. So hopefully this will turn out well. I did try recording it earlier, but my microphone was too low, so I hope this will turn out a lot better. Um, and actually, I'm going to turn down the volume on the video just a bit. So if I have to, I can boost it in my editing software. All right. So this is regarding the SSD in the Xbox Series X and S. Um, so there are some issues with how Microsoft has um, installed the software on the SSD that will actually potentially kill your console in the future if the SSD dies. So let's get into this video.
Your Xbox is going to die. So behind me, I have a Xbox Series X, as you can see just there. So I've got it turned on right now, and it does turn on and appears to work fine in terms of the console turning on and stuff. But we do have a big problem, and that is an E208 error code. So basically, what's happening with this is you turn the console on, and it will attempt to boot up, and then it'll throw out a E208 error code. I've been working on this for a while, so it's already pretty much disassembled. I've just got it inside the housing so as I can power it on and stuff. But basically,
So that error code is regarding the SSD not the system not being able to boot from the SSD because the SSD has failed or is close to failing or is just not able to boot. So that's what that's about.
the E208 error code is normally going to be a software related issue. But what I'm seeing more often than not is it's a hardware related issue. And it's an issue which is going to affect every single Xbox Series console. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dakota. I am a hardware technician. I'm an electronics technician.
And there will be a link to his channel and to this video in the description of this video, so you can go subscribe. He does a lot of repairing of consoles that are like fire damaged or water damaged and stuff like that that are almost beyond repair but are still fixable and stuff like that. So yeah, there's that.
And I fix PCBs at component level, and I teach people how to do it on YouTube. A lot of people will know me from the amount of stick that I give to Sony for the flaws in the PS5 system, such as the liquid metal issues, the random failing capacitors, and things like that. But one thing that Sony did get right is that, albeit with a bit of rework, you can replace the SSD. And unfortunately, that's something that we can't typically do on an Xbox Series X, especially if the SSD completely fails, which some of these are, and it's completely killing the system with no chance of recovery. And that sucks because it's basically turning your console into a very expensive paperweight. That's the card hold. That's the cold, hard reality of the situation. It is very, very grim, and I can only assume that Microsoft are very aware of this. And there's got to be someone from Microsoft who watches my videos. You're aware of it. Come on, do something about it. This is a software-related issue, and it's bricking actual hardware. So basically, the way that the Xbox Series X and the Series S is designed is it's got a M.2 Gen 4 PCI Express SSD. These things.
So that's the same kind of SSD that's in the Steam Deck as well. I think that's a 4x4 M.2 drive. So even those can potentially fail as well, but it's not as catastrophic as what he's going to describe for the Xbox Series consoles. because you can just swap out the SSD in a Steam Deck fairly easily, and then you can just reflash it and stuff like that, and you'll be up and running again as soon as you obviously get a new one. But he also says that I think, well, he'll say it in this video, but somewhere around 3 to 5 years is how long a typical SSD will last, or maybe 7 years or something. But yeah, so even eventually my SSD in my Steam Deck will probably eventually fail, and I'll probably have to get a new one. So that kind of sucks. I kind of wish that they did last longer and that they would make them more robust and stuff, but oh well.
This is one out of a donor console, one that I couldn't fix. But basically, these things have got a little hidden partition on there, which is unreadable by a normal computer because of the partition type. It's XBFS, and even if you could read it, it's encrypted, or as far as I'm aware, it's encrypted. So you can't actually read it, but on this SSD is that little hidden partition. It's 1 GB in file, and I think there's only like 128 megabytes of actual data on that partition. But within that data is a hardware key, and that is paired to the actual motherboard. On the old systems, we could change the hard drive, no problem at all. So why is it now that in 2020, and I know it's 2023 now, but why is it that in 2020 they suddenly had a brainwave and thought, I know, let's encrypt a hardware key onto the SSD so people can't actually read it, or so people that can't actually boot the console up if this thing dies. There's a very severe reason why these consoles are dying so quickly. This console in particular, I was going to take a completely different direction with this video. I was just going to do a normal repair video. Everyone's happy. But after I saw what's actually going on with this SSD, I've took a different approach, because basically the SSD in this one has been running for 202 days. That's 202 days worth of power on hours. And the reason
And he's gonna say here, but the reason it's 202 days um, worth of power hours or whatever he actually says, that's because of quick resume. So the owner of that particular console had their system in a low power state with quick resume enabled, so that they could quickly access their games and whatnot that they were um, wanting to play and stuff like that, and that exacerbates the issue because the console doesn't shut completely down. So it's in a low power state. It's still connected to the internet. It's still running background processes. It's still kind of running the software and all that kind of stuff, but just in a low power state. So yeah, that would basically make it would kill your SSD even faster than if you were to actually shut it down completely and then just do a hard boot every time that you wanted to play on the console.
reason for that isn't because the gamer is some fat sweaty dude in his mom's basement. This is because the console is set to instant access or fast boot up. So there's a feature on the, and I'll say feature on the Xbox, where you can set it to basically boot up pretty much instantly. And basically what that does is it puts the console into some low power state where the console's still powered on, it's just not outputting a display, and you can't actually use it. So it's always connected to the internet, it's always got power running through it, there's always power running through the SSD, the fan is always running, and you are basically killing your console by having this setting turned on. But it's not just that what's killing these consoles, it's the fact that these are going to die. No matter what, it doesn't matter what people say, eventually they are going to die, because it's an SSD, it's solid state storage, and every single bit of research ever has always pointed to these things having a 5 to 10 year lifespan. Now, obviously, this has only been powered on for I'll say
Okay, so I was wrong. It's a 5 to 10 year lifespan. I thought it was 3 to 5, but no, it's 5 to 10 year lifespan. So they will eventually fail. It doesn't matter where you put your SSD and stuff like that, but there are certain things that you can do to kind of mitigate damage and stuff like that with your SSD. Now, in my laptop, I have a hybrid drive, so it's got a hard disk drive and an SSD. Thankfully, in it, it hasn't died. I've had this uh, since 2018. No, it was late 2017 when I got my laptop. Um, and so, yeah, so far I haven't had any issues yet. So I've had it for about 5 years, going on 5 years now. So, yeah, it all depends um, on the manufacturer as well, I'm sure, and the quality of the SSD. But yeah, it kind of sucks to have such a short lifespan compared to a traditional hard disk drive that can last 10 to 20 years or longer in a mechanical drive. Depends also on the manufacturer and how it's made and how often it's accessed and how often it's used. But also, the thing with SSDs is if they are not used for 2 years, they will automatically delete anything that's on them. Um, it'll just kind of flush the data that's on there. So when you plug it in after 2 years, it'll be like a brand new booted drive or whatever that you've never used and stuff like that. Um, so there's also that issue too if you don't use it for a long period of time. So SSDs are pretty finicky um, in that regard as well. So, yeah, all right, let's continue this video.
Only 202 days and it's dying. So what we've got here is a 208 error code where it basically can't load up the software. And I've already tried to reinstall the software using official Microsoft solutions. So I've installed O2 onto a USB. I've tried factory resetting it. I've tried booting it into safe mode and blah, blah, blah. Nothing is allowing me to get this console working. It will get to 94% and just fail. And it just won't go any further. And that is because the SSD that's in this right now is dying. So I'm going to stop ranting now. If you are new to the channel, like I said, my name is Dakota. I'm an electronics technician and I fix electronics for a living. So if you'd like to see that sort of stuff on YouTube, get subscribed. It makes me look more popular and makes my mum and dad really proud of me. And also, if you do want to support me, there'll be some links in the video description. You can check me out on Twitch. You can subscribe over there and use an Amazon Prime account to become a Twitch Prime subscriber. It doesn't cost you anything other than a couple of minutes of your time if you've got Amazon Prime, but it does massively help me out. It allows me to keep making these videos and allows me to keep doing what I love. So with that being said, let's get this damn thing fixed, shall we?
All right, so that's where I'm going to end it. I'm only 6 minutes and 27 seconds into the video out of 36 minutes and 11 seconds. So yeah, if you want to check out the rest of the video, I think he actually manages to fix it. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't. This is about as far as I got. Maybe a little bit further into the repair, but not by much. But this was the most important bit about what could potentially happen if you have an Xbox Series console. Now, I was thinking at one point of possibly getting myself a Series X, but now that I know this information, I have completely changed my mind, and I'm just gonna focus on PC, because that's a lot easier to deal with regards to an SSD or whatnot. And hard drive. So I'm just going to stick with my Steam Deck. I'm hopefully going to eventually build my PC. Um, I haven't had the time, and also the fact that I injured my back about a week ago. So I haven't been able to do anything much in that regard. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Give this guy a follow. Let me see here. The Coder with a 3 is his channel name. Now this was uploaded a couple weeks ago. It's got some views. Um, I know I have a very small channel. I don't think it'll get signal boosted at all, but maybe it'll be informative for some people, at least on my channel and whatnot, and maybe go to his video and share the link to his video and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna cut it there and have a good one.